Sephiroth is the one that shattered Cloud's mind, but it was Aerith who quietly rewrote who he was allowed to be, dismantling his performance by refusing to take his cool attitude seriously, exposing that the soldier persona was always too small for the person wearing it. Aerith's first real move with Cloud is to grant his fantasy and then immediately mock it, hiring him as a bodyguard in the church in order to play to his self-image. But everything that follows undercuts the grandeur of that role. Instead of protection, she tasks him with walking her home, meeting her mother, running mundane tasks around Sector 5, and escorting her to pick flowers. In fact, when Aerith introduces him to her mother as his bodyguard, he tries to respond only for the conversation to slide into homey domesticism. This is her weaponizing the gap between the name of Cloud's role and the reality of his tasks. Every time she reduces Soldier First Class into guy that picks flowers with me, she's cutting another thread holding his performance together. The rest of the cast either take Cloud's persona at face value or meet it with their own seriousness. Barrett constantly butts heads with him ideologically, Tifa quietly worries about him, and Sephiroth exploits the persona as material for psychological warfare. Aerith was the only one who looked at that 90s edgelord posture and laughed, constantly poking and teasing him and undercutting his one-liners, treating his detached coolness less like a wall and more like a prop in their shared skit, which reframes his toxic masculine stoicism from aspirational to slightly pathetic. Once you see her laughing at his act, it becomes impossible to go back to reading him as an unshakable badass. She's teaching you the joke, and once you get it, you start looking for the scared, lonely person underneath. Look at where the major scenes when Aerith approaches Cloud occur: the church, her garden, the date at Gold Saucer, sites of intimacy and care. Aerith's greatest act of resistance is to drag the hardened ex-soldier into places built for tenderness, until his image just looks wrong standing there, framing it so that the world around him starts arguing with his persona long before the live stream does. However, these are examples of Aerith carefully peeling back the layers of his toxic masculinity. War Market is where she takes a sledgehammer to it. The entire cross-dressing scheme is her idea, and she cheerfully drags him through the process of assembling his ensemble. See, Cloud's entire persona relies on a certain vision of masculinity, one where he's emotionally unavailable, and so Aerith engineers a scenario where that masculinity becomes a liability, undercutting the binary thinking that props up Cloud's rigid identity. And all Aerith has to do is nudge him into a world he can't rationalize under his old rules, and watch as he succumbs. For more Final Fantasy VII essays, here's one about how it's a perfect mirror to 9.